discussing the article Reading and Writing Instruction in the Upper Elementary Grades by Jessica Toste and Stephen Quaylo. So we know from the title that it's going to be about instruction through reading and writing in the different elementary grades, pertaining to students with disabilities as well as students in general. So Toste and Quaylo, they emphasize the importance of the transition from learning to read to reading to learn. So we know that for students, this is one of the most important transitions that they go through in elementary school. It sets the foundation for their education to come. Statistics show that after 3rd grade, students will be able to read for understanding. However, from 6th to 8th grade, that achievement gap widens, especially for students with disabilities. So some percentages that show us that not all 3rd graders are able to understand through reading. We see less than 40% of students are reading at the correct grade level, less than 40%. And then with the students with disabilities, the outcomes are even worse. The percentages are at 12% or lower. So as teachers, we know the importance and the responsibility to help cultivate and encourage and motivate our students to be able to get them from that transition from learning to read to reading to learn. Next, we're going to talk about the 4th grade slump. So this is when students lose their motivation for reading, and it can lead to failure or dropouts, whatever the case might be. So from that and the statistics that are shown, it is key for evidence-based instruction in the 3rd and 5th grade so you can minimize reading failure. So to survive and be successful, students entering upper elementary grades and high school, they need literacy foundations. So this article we're about to discuss next, it gives strategies and different instructions to motivate and teach reading skills most effectively to students with disabilities as well. Some strategies to motivate and teach reading skills include instruction in graphing, phoneme, correspondence. It's important when teaching this to develop a scope and sequence of instruction. Another strategy is multisyllabic words reading instruction. In upper elementary grades, multisyllabic words appear often in content area text, so it is important for students to be able to decode these words. Multisyllabic words often appear in content area text, thus being able to decode these words is key to content acquisition. There are 5 research-based instructional practices to support the multisyllabic word development of students with learning disabilities. First, we have affix learning. Second, we have peel-off reading. Third, we have word building games. And fourth, we have reading fluency. And lastly, we have connected text reading. Some steps for reading connected text for a teacher would first be to guide students in sounding out the words, then to provide individual turns to students, correct students' errors, and lastly, to confirm student responses. For the student, the first step would be to sound out the words in their head, then to read each word and then the whole sentence in unison, and lastly, to use their finger to track and decode words. Another instruction for helping students succeed in their reading ability is teaching them to make connections between individual facts and events in order to build meaning. So if a student has a strong inference-making skill, they tend to do better with reading comprehension, which that's the goal. So this skill is usually a difficult one for the students with learning disabilities. So some suggestions they give to help with this are to practice identification of words, activization of background knowledge, and generation or answering of inferential questions. So for learning disability students, it's pretty beneficial to give them step-by-step guidelines while practicing their reading. There are 5 research-based instructional practices to support the multisyllabic word development of students with learning disabilities. First, we have affix learning. Second, we have peel-off reading. Third, we have word-building games. And fourth, we have reading fluency. And lastly, we have connected text reading. Pertaining to inference-making skills, students are expected to make high-level inferences in order to determine central ideas, analyze how and why individual events and ideas develop and interact, and lastly, in order to assess the ways in which the point of view or purpose shapes the content and style of the text. As a teacher of a student with a learning disability, or any student in general, it is essential to provide effective instruction in reading and writing. As studies have proven, there is a steady decrease in motivation for students entering the upper elementary grades and up. For students to be able to access core curriculum in upper elementary grades, they have to have the skills for written language and decoding. So as teachers, it is our job and also a responsibility to get those students from where they are to where they need to be and provide the most effective instruction for their reading and writing skills to lay that foundation for the rest of their education.